Hello once again. So today we are going to learn about the equal addition algorithm method, and we're going to use this method for our subtraction problems. And I know that subtraction can sometimes be very difficult, especially with big numbers. So I know this sounds a little bit, this name, right? It sounds scary, but I promise you that this name is only, this method is only to help you in your subtraction problems. So first, we're going to do this problem right here, 44 minus 29. So first, I'm going to show you the traditional way that someone would do this subtraction problem. So here we have the problem again, 44 minus 29. So we would do 4 minus 9, right? But we run into a problem because we can't do 4 minus 9. So what you would do in the traditional way, you would have to borrow from the 4, then the 4 would turn into a 3, then this 4 would turn into a 14. Then you can do 14 minus 9, which would be 5, and then 3 minus 2, which would be 1. But you see how we have to do all of this borrowing and changing numbers. And sometimes when we do that, we can make a mistake and we can mess up with one of the numbers, and maybe we know how to subtract, but doing all of this can mess us up. So that is why we have the equal addition algorithm method that is going to help us with problems when we run into a problem like that. So here we have again 44 minus 29. So the first thing you want to do for this method is look at the bottom number. And you see that the bottom number right here, it has a 9. And since it's larger than this top number, that is why we can't subtract them. So your goal here is to change this bottom number into a 0 or any number less than the number that you have on top. But if you have a 0, it's easier to work with that. So we want to get to a 0. So how can we make 29 have a 0 in the units in the ones place? We can add 1, because if we add 1, we get 30, and now we have a 0 in our ones place. But one very important thing that you cannot forget when using this method is that what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So if you added 1 right here, you have to add 1 to the top as well. So 44 plus 1 would give us 45. And now, can we subtract this? Yes, it is way easier. Let's try it. 5 minus 0, we have 0. And then 4 minus 3, we have 5. And then 4 minus 3, we have 1. And there you go. We get the same exact number. We get 15. And that's what we got with the traditional method as well. So you can see that this method does work. Now we're going to try it again, but with a much more difficult problem. So again, I'm going to show you the regular way to do this. Here we have 255 minus 163. So here's how we would do it with the traditional method. 5 minus 3, we can do that. That's 2. But then 5 minus 6, that's a little bit, we can't do that one. That's hard. So we have to borrow from the 2. The 2 would turn into a 1, and then the 5 would turn into a 15. So then 15 minus 6 would be 9, and then 1 minus 1 would be 0. So we get 92. But again, we run into all of this mess over here. So let's try to do it with the equal addition algorithm method. So remember our goal, we want to have a 0 here. So what can we add to where we have a 0 here? We can add 7. So we're going to do plus 7. That would give us 170. And then remember what you do to the bottom, you do the top, plus 7. That would give us 262. So now can we go ahead and subtract that? Let's try it. 2 minus 0, that's 2. Then 6 minus 7, we can't do 6 minus 7. So now we have to add something that would give us a 0 here, that would add to where we have a 0 in our tens place. So what can we do? What can we add? We can add 30, because 170 plus 30 would give us 200. And remember, what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So plus 30, 262 plus 30 would be 292. Now, can we subtract that? Let's try it. 2 minus 0, 2. 9 minus 0, 9. 2 minus 2, 0. And we get 92. That's the same answer that we got for this problem, except we skipped all of this. We didn't have to do that because we used this method. Now let's try one that's a little bit harder. We have here 4,215 minus 1,797. Let's try it. This problem is a little difficult, but let's try it with the regular method on how we would subtract this. All right, so 5 minus 7, we can't do that problem. So we would have to borrow from the 1, then the 1 would turn into 0, the 5 would turn into 15. Then we can do 15 minus 7, that would give us 8. Now we move to the tens place. 0 minus 9, you can't do that one. So you have to borrow from the 2. The 2 turns into a 1. The 0 turns into a 10. Then you can do 10 minus 9, which would give us 1. Then you do 1 minus 7. You can't do that. So you turn the 1. You borrow from the 4. The 4 turns into a 3. Then the 1 turns into an 11. So 11 minus 7, that would give us 4. Then 3 minus 1 would give us 2. So you see all this right here. This can be very confusing, and that is where mistakes can occur. That is why we are doing the equal algorithm method. So let's try it. So 4,215 minus 1,797. So what can we add? Remember, we focus on the bottom number, so we can get a 0 here. We can add 3. So let's do plus 3. Remember, you're going to do the same to the top, plus 3. All right. So 1,797 plus 3 would be 1,800. And then 4,215 plus 3 would be 4,218. So let's try and subtract this now. Let's see. 8 minus 0 is 8. 1 minus 0 is 1. 2 minus 8. Again, we run into a problem right here. So now we have to try and change the 8 into a 0. So how can we do that? Well, if we add 200 plus 200, and then to the top as well, plus 200. Now, 1,800 changes, plus 200 changes into 2,000. Now our top, 4,218 plus 200 would be 4,418. Now let's see if we can subtract that. 8 minus 0, that's 8. 1 minus 0, that's 1. 4 minus 0, 4. 4 minus 2, 2. And there we got our answer. And we didn't have to worry about borrowing and changing numbers like how we did in this problem over here. You see all this mess to get this answer. And here all we did was just add easy numbers to get our answer without borrowing or anything like that. So that is the equal addition algorithm method. I hope that you can use this to help you with your subtraction problems. It has helped me a lot. If you don't feel comfortable with this method, that is completely fine. If you like to use the regular method better, that's also completely fine. You have to use what is best for you, what is going to help you. If you understand this, you're more than welcome to use this with your subtraction problems. I hope you like this video and understand it. Thank you for watching.